there were factors. Like if you were 25 and healthy, you were like, whatever, I'm going on a COVID cruise. But if you were over the age of 25, and it may surprise you, but I am, you watch the news more closely, right? The newscast would be like, high-risk people are older. And you're like, well, how old? Like old, or didn't have a cell phone in high school old? Right? Because nobody thinks of themselves as old. The reality of your age just occasionally slaps you across the face. I did this benefit for a hospital. It was a fancy event. When I showed up, the woman running the event was like, oh my gosh, we went to the same college. She was younger, but we talked and we realized we hung out at the same places. And then at the end of the event, I was leaving and she ran up. She was like, I need to know what year you graduated college. And I was like, 1988. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's the year I was born. Slap! Right across the face. I didn't even know what to say. I was like, that's the year I was born too. She just looked at me like, that's not funny. And then I got in my car and stuffed food in my mouth until I stopped feeling anything. Sometimes you had to decipher the news, right? The newscast would be like, the vulnerable are older and people with comorbidities. You're like, what? Comorbidity. Which eventually we figured out was just code for all the fat asses are gonna die. But they couldn't say that on the news. They couldn't have Sanjay Gupta be like, well, Anderson, all the fat asses are gonna die. So they said comorbidities. And at home, we were like, honey, what is a comorbidity? I don't know, pass the gravy. In time, we figured out they were talking about fat people. And if you were overweight, you were like, well, how fat? Like, are we talking Walmart fat or Jim Gaffigan fat? I got the message. I don't know, but I totally got the message. I started working out. I started eating healthy. I was going good. And then one day I looked in the mirror and I was like, enough of that. Turns out life or death, not the motivator you'd think it would be. You can live longer. Not a good enough reason. Can you sweeten the deal? Maybe throw in a pizza? I tried. My wife bought me a scale, so the romance is still alive. I didn't ask for it. She gave it to me as a gift. I could never do something like that. Happy birthday, honey. I bought you a scale and some makeup. Just looking out for you, sweetie. It's a high-tech scale. Comes with an app so the government can know how overweight I am. I don't know why there's an app. Maybe so I can be the victim of ransomware. Pay up, we're telling everyone how fat you are. But I don't have any cryptocurrency! I set up the app, stood on the scale, my weight showed up on the phone, 150 pounds. All right, it was over 200. All right, it was way over 200. If it was an old-fashioned scale, you wouldn't see the number 200. But it was in the 200 family. And underneath my weight on the phone, there was this word in small red lettering, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I asked my daughter, I was like, what does that say? And she was like, obese. Slap! Right across the face. I just looked at my daughter, I'm like, I gotta update this app. But marching bands are amazing, right? They practice as much as the athletes. They're always rehearsing. It's amazing how much effort goes into creating something that no one really likes. I'm kidding. I know there's some marching band people here, and in full, like, the reality is a marching band can take a song, it's pretty impressive, any song, and ruin it. You're like, wow, I didn't know I could hate Uptown Funk that much. You're never listening to a song and think, I wish there was a marching band version of this. And I understand there's some proud marching band people here. And in full disclosure, I could never be in the marching band because I've had sex. He's gonna get beat up by a marching band. No, I know that people cherish their time in the marching band. They do. But to me, it just seems like we're dissuading careers in music. It's like, oh, you want to be a musician? Okay, put on this Captain Crunch costume. At halftime, march around the field while we grab some hot dogs. Do that for a couple semesters and we'll see if you still want to be a musician. Did you know that? I didn't know this. Marching bands started as military bands. They would march armies into battle, and they were for morale and to intimidate the enemy. I don't know how that would work. Oh no, they know Fleetwood Mac. Should we go back? What if Lindsey Buckingham's with them? How did they convince someone playing a trumpet to march into battle? Head on in there. Oh, won't they have weapons? You're gonna fight them with music. If you survive, please wake us up in the morning with our rent. I love it when trumpet players have the plunger at the end. Wah, wah. Who came up with that? I was listening to you play the trumpet and it reminded me of when I clogged my toilet. I had eaten 6 Big Macs on a dare anyway. I brought my plunger. It's kind of clean. If you could place it at the end of your expensive music equipment and give me a wah-wah. Go ahead. Still wearing masks? There was that time when nobody had to wear a mask, right? That was a fun day. Remember the first time you went out in public without a mask? It was weird, right? You felt naked. You're like, oh, I'm so European. What is this, the French Riviera? I was kind of tempted to wear like a thong mask. Something tasteful yet naughty. I can see his cheeks, but they're still a mystery. Ooh la la. Round and pale and mostly balding, the boy from Indiana goes walking, and as he does, all the people he passed go, yuck. Initially, it was strange seeing other people's faces without a mask, right? You wanted to go up to some people like, you should stick with a mask. It's a better look for you. You and a mask is better for everyone. Did you meet anyone during the pandemic where you only knew them with a mask? And then when you finally saw them barefaced, you're like, yikes. You felt like you were catfished. You're like, wow, your face doesn't match your voice at all. And who stole your chin? Of course, the biggest reveal of the pandemic was how many crazy people there are. That was a bit of a surprise. We all knew there were some Unabombers out there, but nobody thought there were that many. Or that we were related to a couple of them. Yeah? Because everyone had that relative or friend that came out as bonkers. I no longer believe in reality! Good to know. It was like a gender reveal for insanity. The truth is no longer true. See you at Thanksgiving. I feel like it happened for me more often because I've always had friends that are eccentric thinkers, and they're normally really entertaining. They're like, Bigfoot's real, man. Bigfoot is real. But that same person at one point during the pandemic was like, Tom Hanks eats babies. Don't say that. Tom Hanks does eat babies, and if you don't believe that, then you eat babies. All right. Tom Hanks eats babies. He always seemed like a baby eater to me. The thing I missed most during the lockdown was restaurants. I know that's a surprise. I didn't even realize how much I missed restaurants till the first time I went out to eat, and I caught myself catcalling other people's food. Oh, yeah. What I would do to you. Get me a fork and knife. Jim, you're in public. Oh, sorry. This is going to kind of sound pandering, but I believe that the pandemic has been hardest on mothers. Definitely hardest on mothers, right? Or the men who had to live with those mothers. It was insane I don't know how my wife did it. We had 5 children doing distance learning, and my kids were good. They totally kept a distance from learning. We asked children to do school on the same device they play Minecraft. It's like holding a Weight Watchers meeting in a Wendy's. I mean, it was insane. I definitely gained an appreciation for how difficult it is to be a teacher and what a poor career choice that was. Right? I guess it was after the first case of scotch, I turned to my wife and I said, when this is over, this is even an opening, I'll take you wherever you want to go, wherever you want to go. My wife was like, I want to go to Hawaii. And I was like, I was thinking more tri-state area. She was like, I want to go to Hawaii and I want to bring the kids. And I was like, whose kids? She was like, our kids. I did the research, saw that it was cheaper than a divorce, so we went to Hawaii. Hawaii is such a special place. It really is. Like, there's the aloha spirit where people greet each other with aloha, but I'm so awkward, someone would be like, aloha, and I'd be like, hello, ha. Does that mean something? That means... Even when I would use the Hawaiian terms properly, it would backfire. Like if I said mahalo, the natives would look at me like, you don't have to do that. Just nod your head and we'll bring you pork. Because I stuck out in Hawaii. I didn't even look like a tourist. I looked like someone they brought. Thank you! Thank you! Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, that's so nice. That almost makes me forget we're all going to be dead in a week. I'm kidding. It'll probably be a month. Remember when we thought the pandemic was over? Everyone was so happy. We did it! We probably look so stupid. Everyone was patting themselves on the back. Yeah, I'm just glad I could help out the sick by staying inside. It's not over? Well, I'm not going back in. Those sick people have to die. Because it's not over. The pandemic is like a TV show you thought was canceled, and then it got picked up by Netflix. Because we all went through the same pandemic, but we didn't have the same experience, right?